all right. Let's get this started. Let's see. All righty. All right. Welcome, everyone. I have invited Waylon to the chat. I'm going to send this out to a few people so they can join. Let's see. Hey, Waylon.
Hello, how are you?
Good. You sideways. You're sideways.
Let me fix it.
Okay. There you go. Yeah, Instagram is not very flexible, so you gotta hold your camera a certain way. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, good. This is probably my favorite interview out of all the interviews I've done all year. Yeah.
Awesome.
Um. So welcome everyone coming in. Welcome. Um. So we are here with Waylon Cornelius. And the reason why this interview probably is my favorite one that I have ever done is because this is my cousin. This is my blood. And I remember, Waylon, when you were Tyler. I remember the day you were born. So I'm really excited to get into this new book you just launched.
Yes.
Yes. So let's get into it. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask any questions that you have for Waylon. All right. So, how you feeling? I know this is your first IG live.
Oh man, I'm woosah
But
on
yeah,
as we go.
yeah. But you know what? I've read some of the highlights through the book. I haven't been able to read it from cover to cover yet. But I was, going through your book and picking out certain moments. And I remember hearing about them in the family, but this is the first time I've actually kind of deep dive into those moments that you've been quiet about. So I'm very honored to share. You be one of the people to share this with the world for the very first time. So welcome everyone. We're talking to Waylon Cornelius. Let me just just pin a comment so people know what we're talking about. Unlocking your inner purpose. And I am going to pin that comment. All right, Waylon.
Awesome.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. First off, I would say in a nutshell, at my core, I'm just a country boy with an ambitious heart who wants to help as many people as I can live a more conscious and autonomous life, ultimately.
Mm-hmm.
As you may know, I was born and raised in South Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
raised in the heart of the South, and by the way of Bethune. And I currently reside in California with my wife and daughter, and I work full time as an engineer with a medical device company. And passively, I write on the side as an author, getting it in whenever time permits, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
You've done more than that though. I mean, you're obviously a husband, a father, a writer, but tell everyone a little bit about your background. Like, okay, you graduated from high school.
yeah, so I
And then what?
graduated high school. I actually was blessed to move forward to college on a football scholarship, and so I played football for Newberry College in South Carolina. For those that are not familiar with it, and due to financial constraints, my football career ended, and I left college, entered the workforce, began working, went through multiple different jobs, different career paths, and ended up finally finishing my degree, years down the road. and moving into the engineering space in which what I'm in now. But I'm also a current member of the California Air National Guard, the Air Force, for those that aren't familiar with the Air National Guard. And it's funny because I'm actually running from a drill today, so just to get here. So I really appreciate everything.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I remember the day you were born, and it was a really special day. I remember it because it was I don't know what month were you born, because it had to be the
July.
summer. Okay, yeah, it was the summer because me and my family were down there visiting grandma and grandpa. So it was the day we were supposed to go to Carowinds. Well, we went, but Aunt Jackie didn't go. She wanted to let you. And then a few days later, we met you. And I remember like the next summer, um, I had spent the night over at Aunt Jackie and Aunt Jerry's house, and I was in the bed with Aunt Jackie, and sleeping because y'all didn't have no extra bed, so we
Right.
all sleep. Down in the south, everybody sleep together, and I remember waking up and I saw your two little eyes just staring at me, trying to figure out who was this person in this bed. And
Right.
you just always was very inquisitive. You always, very observant, quiet, but all the while just kind of taking life in, and then coming up with your own, coming up with your own way of doing things, and not necessarily conforming, but taking it in, but coming up with your own way of doing things, which leads me to your book. All right.
100%.
So
That's me.
let's get into it, because that's why people are here. The camera's a little crazy, but it's tell me how to say this word, because I don't want to mispronounce the word. How you
Transcendence.
say it?
Transcendence.
Transcendence.
Yes.
How to unlock your inner purpose and manifest your dreams.
Yes.
So that, I mean, as a creative, and most of the people that will watch this back are creatives. They love the arts, or they are making art themselves. So I really felt that this message is something that all of us can learn from. All right. So first, let's define what, how you say it?
Transcendence.
Transcendence. What does transcendence actually mean?
To transcend is basically reaching a higher state of existence. So whether it's your mind, physical, the way I look at it, physical health, mental health, just overall well-being, to transcend to a higher version of yourself.
Mm-hmm. And so, Waylon, you are, how old are you now? I know you late 20s. How old are you?
Oh,
Are you older than that?
yes, I'm 33.
Oh my gosh. Time has gone by. Time has gone by. But you gotta excuse us, because we had, up until last month, we ain't seen each other for years, right? So
Right.
why can you, at 33 years old, some people may be looking at you like, well, you don't have enough life experience to write a book. Why is your story relevant, and why was your story worth, writing, penning at
Okay.
this time in your life? Because I know there's more books coming. So,
Yeah.
why now? Why at 33 did you decide to, like, what, I'm gonna sit here and kind of tell this story that I've been living for the past, 10 or 15 years?
For sure. So I would say first and foremost, my daughter. Um, just going through the whole birthing process and becoming a father, and, and just looking at the legacy that I want to leave her,
Mm-hmm.
and most importantly, like understanding that tomorrow's not promised. I could not be here tomorrow. I want to be able to. I want her to have my voice, with her throughout her life, and I felt like capturing it in a book would allow me to always be there with her, to guide her, as she's growing and developing and trying to figure out things within her life. She doesn't have to look to the world, doesn't have to look to other people. She can be like, okay, my father's been here, what would he do? you know
Mm-hmm.
and so that was a major part of my decision to write. And then also, secondly, my community. Coming from where I come from, I mean, there's limits on everything. When you look at the reality of the situation, when I say limits, I mean like limits on resources as far as funding, money, access to like education for the youth.
Mhm.
There's limits when it comes to food, water. I was home a few weeks ago, and to get to like a decent quality, I would say healthy meal, we had to drive over 45 minutes. So literally, quality food, there's a limit there. Then even when you look at internet, just something like we're streaming right now and talking to each other due to the internet service, but in those particular areas, it's a broadband desert, and so there's limits, that stop and limit people from reaching certain potentials that they should naturally be able to. And so after leaving Bethune, where I'm from, and just kind of expanding my horizon and tapping into different environments and different situations, my mind, I started to see that I kept running into kind of roadblocks, and it was all due to me and my mentality,
Mhm.
the way I looked at the world. And so, after being challenged with a lot of different things, I began to start doing the work within myself and started to see, like, okay, like these are limits that you definitely can break. Like, there's no reason why you have to stay confined to the way you were thinking, which basically is a smaller mentality.
Mhm.
And so, as I look around, as I start to see like some of the scales breaking from my mind, and I'm looking around to different people, and I'm seeing like, man, like it ain't just me that's struggling, with these limits
Mhm.
internally within our mind. Everybody has them, and so it's like I wanted to capture my story to be able to help someone break their limits off of their mind to so they can begin living to their fullest version of themselves, manifesting their dreams.
Right. Wow. So first and foremost, when you became a dad, you wanted to leave you wanted to begin leaving this legacy for your daughter and
Right.
and maybe even future kids. And then secondly, you wanted to extend this kind of evolving set of knowledge and insights and breakthroughs to others who may be going through what you've gone through and may go through in the future.
Right.
So that's amazing. So my next question is, that's a broad category though, because a lot of us, probably all of us, at some point have had certain, as Tanae, she says, we are our own what roadblocks, right? We've all kind of been there. But this book, who would you say is this book is really for? Because all that's a broad category. If you had to narrow it down, who is this book for?
I would say that person that's like stuck right now with kind of like that back up against the wall moment, and they're literally re- repeating the same thing daily, and they like have, I would say, maybe 1% ounce of hope. Like life could be different, but they don't know how to create and change their current situation. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like this book will be directly for them to allow them to kind of look at things from their own perspective and see like the possibility, but it all starts with them. And
Mm-hmm.
so I will say that that community of that people that like just really desire change and they're just totally fed up with their situation.
All right. All right. We have a question. Is this book available on audio, in audio book format?
It is coming soon. It's not available yet in Audible, but it is coming soon.
All right. All right. And that Tanae asked that question because she she loves her audiobook. All right, so let's actually, let's actually get into the book. You know, again, I didn't wasn't haven't had a chance to read it cover to cover because I just got it, but there's two quotes that from your book that I want to kind of dive into
Okay.
to kind of give people an idea of what this book has in store. So the first one is like in the introduction, and it's you talk about. Well, let me just read it because you said you're gonna say it better. All right. So like the earth, we all go through seasons. Summer becomes fall. Winter changes into spring. Going through these seasons is necessary, and as we learn, build strength, and move toward the outcomes we were meant to manifest. I believe we all have an essential role to play in our families, jobs, communities. Simply put, this is our purpose. Yet it's easy to believe otherwise, especially if we aren't exposing our minds to new ideas, perspectives, and environments. If we never challenge the world that has conditioned us, we don't give ourselves the chance to change. And I want to repeat that last sentence. If we never challenge the world that has conditioned us, we don't give ourselves the chance to change. So, what did you mean when you said this? If the world has conditioned us, and sometimes we don't then allow ourselves to change.
Yes. Oh man, I feel it in my core, like just vibrating right now. From the moment that we come out of our parents, or should I say our mother's womb, we are our environment bombards us with messages. Um, some are true. A very vast amount of them are not true.
Mm-hmm.
From family members to television to nowadays social media.
Mm-hmm.
So we are at our essence, we're spiritual beings in these physical earth suits that we live in. And so when you have a spirit that is constantly the true identity and essence of the soul is constantly covered up and masked with taking on all of these earthly ideas, our true essence isn't able to speak out. And we likely tend to not follow our true identity, our core, because we have been so bombarded with all of messaging from this world. And so I would say that when you have a child that comes, they're a blank slate. I just watch my child, like she literally is taking on the literal programming, whether we like it or not,
Mm-hmm.
from the time that she's born up until she's well, it doesn't ever stop. But what we feed her, it basically plants into her subconscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
And again, all the things that she consumes, through television, social media, the world around her, her voice becomes, the volume becomes lower. And the world is feeding her, oh, you're great at this, you're great at that, you should do that, you should follow this, your parents were this, you should do that. Whereas inside, she has a true purpose which God has created her for, and that voice is muted through all of the layers.
Mm-hmm.
And so, by what I talk about in the book is how to basically almost uncover, get yourself from up under all of that,
Mm-hmm.
so you can hear your own voice, your spirit, what it's telling you to do, what you need to be doing in order to fulfill your divine purposes here on earth.
Mm. That's beautiful. That's beautiful, Waylon. Oh, that's what I want to squeeze your cheeks. For those who don't know, Waylon is my little cousin. So, I still see that little toddler, in my mind. But then, I just am grateful to God how much my uncle and my aunt have poured into you and your brother and your sister. and now by extension, your family, you know, your wife, your daughter, and it's just amazing to see, you know, how you've grown and, you know, into this beautiful, beautiful person, you know. So
Thanks
I
to
have
God.
another quote. Yes, yes. Thanks to God. All right, I have another quote from Uncle Jerry. All right. So on page 48, Uncle Jerry said to you growing up, as a man, if you don't work, you don't eat, and you guys like to eat. So I have to work. I want you and your brother to learn what real work looks and feels like. But as you grow older, I want you to be different. I want you to put your minds to work, not your bodies. All right. So what was Uncle Jerry talking about?
Oh, I think the proof is in the pudding, but
Mhm.
I think, uh, granted, it's easy for me to have a conversation with you. Obviously, we know what our grandfather looked like. Grand,
Mhm.
rest his soul, Robert Johnson. The man worked, you know, all his life, like
Mhm.
just a hard worker. Seeing my grandfather, obviously my father, just work relentless, you know, hours, over 60 plus hours a week, manual labor type of occupations. And so I really, as a kid, I didn't understand the statement. Like, I just enjoyed doing a lot of the side jobs that we got to do, from pouring cement to, you know, fixing houses. And like, granted, it built a lot of core skills that I needed to know and understand as a man. And so that's what I thought I was supposed to do. But moving forward, as I began to work different jobs, and one in particular, I was working for a tire company, and I just remember, and I speak about it in the book, like that
Mhm.
was a very, very labor intensive job. And I just remember coming to my wits' end, like literally, and realizing, like, okay, this is what my father was talking about. Like,
Mhm.
I cannot do this for the next 30, 40 years. Like, I don't see my life working, tearing down my body, you know, day in and day out for the next 30 years. I have to listen to the voice that my father has planted inside of my head.
Mhm.
And so that's when I began to start transitioning the way I look at work and how I'm supposed to provide, you know, for my family as a man. And I began to research and just look at how I can utilize the skills that God has placed within inside me to provide in a different way that doesn't require my actual physical labor.
Mhm.
So that is, in essence, what that quote means. Is basically using your mind to generate the revenue and everything that you need to meet versus actually physically showing up and exerting energy to produce.
Mhm. And for other people.
Right.
Make work
100%.
hard work hard and make other people rich, you know, and wealthy, as opposed to using our inner gifts um through our minds and sometimes through our physical efforts as well, but making ourselves rich and making ourselves, you know, not
Wealthy.
necessarily materially rich, but spiritually and mentally rich, and also that of our family, you know, making sure that they grow, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I remember your parents, just Uncle Jerry always had a video camera when we were little. And I remember he, you know, it was almost like a foreshadowing of how you would kind of take that and turn this and turn it into that lived experience and those moments into a book, you know. So but I remember the video cameras, and he would send those videos to the family. And I remember you and Blake when y'all was singing the ABC song. Y'all was singing the ABC song. I remember that. And y'all thought Uncle Jerry said, say hello to everybody. And y'all thought we was in the cameras. They said, tell them to come out. Tell them to come out. But it was just amazing how at an early, very young age, he always nurtured that what he saw in you all, which was that gift of sharing and wanting to enrich other people's lives, So it was
Yeah, and I
always.
think one main thing I would say both my mother and father, it's no secret that I feel like they didn't intentionally implant it, but it was just it was a result of their work and their labor. My parents, they've sacrificed so much, to help others, family members, friends, taking in loved ones, and just like raising them. And obviously, that was implanted a seed in me to like just want to help others
Mm-hmm.
because I see that that's really in essence what we're all here for. I'm not here for me. You're not here for you. You're here. You're carrying something that someone else needs that I need.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like the moment that we really tap into that, that allows us to really activate the gifts that are with inside of us because we know that, man, what I got, it ain't for me. It's for someone else. So I gotta activate it and use it appropriately because at the end of the day, I'm hurting and I'm hindering someone else by
Mm-hmm.
not activating and using all the gifts that are with inside of me. So I think that was probably one of the major things that they really imparted into me, my brother, and my sister.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They y'all they raised some beautiful people. All of you are just amazing people.
Thank you.
Um the last question I had was there's a lot of self-help books. There's a lot of, kind of breakthrough like work books and things like that. What makes your book so different? Why should people choose your book over, someone else's book that might come out?
All right. I'm gonna try to get through this real quick because my phone is doing something crazy. But all right. So my book, well, I think that people should buy over other self-help books. Ultimately, if you go to any library, the racks are full with
Mm-hmm.
books, especially self-help books. And as I began to like research and read, which really helped me break through a lot of my small mentality. So I realized that that was the key to me literally freeing myself, freeing my own mind is reading. And so after I started to read a lot of the self-help books and some of the other stuff that's out on the market, I realized like the books are great, but for someone like myself coming from where I'm from, to be honest, in our community, it's kind of frowned upon. Like when I was coming up to read, and so
Mm-hmm.
a lot of us we don't read and we don't want to, and so how can I give you what you need, but give it to you in the most concise format to where it's pretty much just the meat and potatoes. It's not all the extra fluff, you know, which can be great, if that's what you're into. But what separates my book is I give people the meat and potatoes and how to generate change and manifest, their divine purposes straight to the point, utilizing my real life experiences. And also, I mean, like I said, it's straight to the point. It's pretty short. It's 118 pages for
Mm-hmm.
the paperback, and so like you can literally sit. If you're a slow average reader, you can get through it within like 3 days if you're really going through it. And so with that, you can go through the book within a few days, and I have the accompaniment journal that actually pulls the exercises out of the book. That way it saves. We're lazy these days, so you don't even have to go back and go through the book and be like, okay, where's that exercise? No, it's directly in the journal. So you can begin to implement and work on the things that you have identified that you need to work on directly in the journal. So I feel that that's what separates my book from a lot of the other books that are on the market today.
Mm-hmm. And also, you're right. You wrote it from a perspective of a son, a father, a husband. You are a part of the military, former football player. So you have a lot of titles, and you pour all of that into this story, and it's not a fiction. It's not fiction. It's a real events. But the way you write, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's such a good writer. He must get it
Thank
from
you.
me.
That's right.
No, it's a gift that God has given, us, our family. Our family has different gifts, and some of us write, some of us draw, some of us sing. Although there was only one singer at the reunion, so I don't know. We singing ain't too strong in our family. But some of us can cook.
Oh man.
Some of us love hard. Aunt Jackie loves hard, and she's always been a strong fan, like a fan. With my comic book, and I'm sure with your book,
Oh yeah.
anything. She's always one of the ones that always you like. Oh, you can do it. God's with you.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. So, all right. So now, how can people, if people are interested in checking this book out, how somebody said Uncle Jerry and Aunt Jackie can sing. Well, they ain't sing at the reunion, so I don't know. I know. So how can people, Blake? Well, I know y'all musicians, but I ain't never heard Blake sing. I know y'all can strum a chord, pluck a chord, but anyway, I'm not gonna get into that. All right. So how can people get your book, Transcendence, Unlocking Your Inner Purpose and Manifesting Your Dreams?
Yes, so the book is available today. Go get it on Amazon. All formats, the hardcover, the paperback, and the ebook. The audible version will be coming soon. You can also get a copy on my website. All of the copies that are purchased on my website will be personally signed by myself. And also the journal is available on Amazon and on my website as well.
Okay, and tell us what your website is.
At WaylandCornelius.com.
Okay. All right, so let's do the clip. Let's do the media clip, okay? Because I'm gonna send you clips of this. All right, so tell me. So it has to include your name. Say, hi, I'm Wayland Cornelius. The title of your book and where to get it. So,
All right. So I'm Wayland Cornelius, and I'm the author of Transcendence: How to Unlock Your Inner Purpose and Manifest Your Dreams. You can go grab your copy today on Amazon. And also, if you would like a hand-signed copy, you can visit my website, WaylandCornelius.com.
all right, Wayland. All right. Okay, so I know this is your first interview. You did amazing.
Thank you.
I have a surprise for you. Okay, so I try to always include a lightning round. Okay, because I got to bring it back to, the creative side of me. Okay, so I'm going to just your first answer. Okay, or
Okay.
question.
Uh-oh.
All right, Wolverine or Batman?
Wolverine.
Okay, South Carolina or California?
Oh, whoa. Pause.
Uh-uh.
California.
All right, the fall or the spring?
Definitely in the spring.
All right.
Birthing
Um,
season.
yeah. Millions, would you rather have millions of dollars or the world's respect?
the world's respect.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. All right. So you do have a question here. It says, through your life journey, which exercise do you feel is the most crucial to help transcend into your purpose?
I would say the act of dreaming is critical. And just to kind of give you a little bit about that, for me, I would say for probably about 5 to 6 years of my life, I literally got into a place to where I didn't dream. I couldn't dream. Um, and if you read the book, you'll understand more about what I'm talking about. Um, but literally, I couldn't. I wasn't. I couldn't dream. I don't have no explanation for it, but I wasn't dreaming. And then even, having my dream of football pretty much vanished before my eyes. That was my identity. And so with having, I would say, being at this state of my life, I was like, okay, um, I'll just do whatever I feel that I'm good at. Whether it's I'm working this job and if I'm good at it, I'll continue to do it until something better comes along. But I wasn't listening. I wasn't even trying to tap into myself, my inner voice, and into my inner dreams. And so I would say learning to pretty much pause and take a step back and declutter my mind, my heart, my spirit
Mm-hmm.
to really tap into like what is those reoccurring messages, voices that are in my head that I may feel like, these are just things that, I'm crazy about or whatever the case may be. I have some type of interest, but really those whispers that keep reoccurring, those are the dreams. Those are the heart's desires. Um, and so I feel like utilizing that active dreaming exercise, it will help anyone really sit with themselves and be able to get to that voice. So you can then begin to capture those thoughts, ideas, and dreams and visions, and then you'll be able to begin putting in the last exercise, the PVGP model.
And yet that whole idea of dreaming, manifesting is what, you know, I had a business mentor for about 2 years, and she always talked about manifesting, manifesting, manifesting. And it's different language out there, but I like the fact that you kept it simple. Dreaming, being able to allow yourself to dream of what you want, and give life to what's inside of you. So, amen to that. God's will, God's purpose, God has a purpose for all humankind, but God's will is individual to us. Like, his will for you is different than his will for me, and all around. So the fact that you have tied in your spiritual upbringing, and then your family, and then now your personal experiences, and you tied it all into this book. It's amazing, and it's an answer to, I know it's an answer to someone's prayers, people's prayers out there that's been looking for something to kind of hold on to and use it as a guide. So I'm very proud of you. The family's very proud of you. I can't wait to dive into it. And, I can't wait to hear more from you. I know social media isn't your thing, but it's free.
Yeah,
So, it's a platform that I think will put you in touch with people that need to hear what you have to say.
for sure.
So,
100%.
welcome to social
Thank
media.
you. Thank you.
So, all right, Waylon, we gonna tie it up. Anything else you want to say, or?
I would just like to say, number one, thank you for helping me you know, coaching me along the way, for sharing your space, your platform. Ultimately, thank you. I don't want to get into too many thank yous because I don't want to miss anybody, but thank you to my family, mother, father, brother, sister, my wife, my daughter, um, everyone that has supported me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to my team that helped me take the book from, you know, a scary place to, you know, what it is right now. So just thank everybody, and I just hope and pray that it continues to, you know, just help people. That's 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 the goal. And I think that one of my, I would say, most heartfelt, like if you had to just take my heart out and just feel it, I think my message is just to help people liberate their minds so they can live free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you've always been that call to action. I remember the story with when you were younger and your mom was sitting in the car outside the barbershop, and you saved her life that day. You saved her life that day. She was going to sit in the. I just want to tell the story real quick because I don't know if you talk about it in the book, but I'm gonna talk about it. So y'all was at the barbershop, right? And Blake and your daddy went inside. And just and you know, correct me with the details because I heard this from my mother, but it brings me to I'm about to cry just remembering it. But I remember Aunt Jackie was tired and she wanted to stay in the car, and God, you was very little and you wanted your mama to come inside with you. You was crying, and she was like, "No, just take the boys inside, take the boys inside." But you kept crying for her to come inside. And when she went inside, y'all was inside and y'all heard a big crash. And y'all looked outside and there was a truck that had all these logs on it that had fallen on the car.
Yeah, nobody but God.
It was. It was. And so, since then, I know Aunt Jackie and Aunt Jerry was spiritual before that, but they took it to a whole nother level after that because they saw God's hand in their lives, and you were the one that God used that day to save our aunt's life. So, we've had some losses in our family, but God wasn't done with Aunt Jackie yet
Oh yeah.
because she needed to raise you and Blake and Kristen.
100%.
So, I will never forget that story. And I don't know if you talk about it in the book, but if you don't, you need to talk about it in your next book.
100%.
And how that experience changed, the course of your family's history. But it's ever since then, I knew that you were special, Waylon. You were, even though Blake and I kind of have, we got to know each other more because Blake was older and I was the cousin in charge of Blake. I don't know why I was, but I had to be in charge of Blake. All the older cousins had to be in charge of the younger cousins. So it was me and Blake. But I've always knew you had something special inside of you. All my cousins, but there was something special about you, and so I'm not surprised that you came out with this book. And I can't wait to read it. Thank God for pouring his love and his gifts into you.
Amen.
And you say, just like you saved my aunt's life that day, you're going to save people's lives with this book. So welcome to this creative space.
Amen.
And
Thank you.
I hope it doesn't stop. Keep sharing your message, regardless of what platform you choose. Just keep sharing your message.
Most definitely. And
so, all right, I love you, Waylon.
I need you to give your stuff out too, Luna.
I know I am. I'm working on it. Yep. My comic book issue 2 is coming out. It's coming out this year. The artist is putting the final touches on the final pages. So, it's coming. It's coming. So,
awesome.
All right, Waylon.
Thank you.
You have a good night.
All right.
All right.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Love you.
Love you too.